Welcome to the JJ's Declutter podcast. I'm Julie.
And I'm Janis. Today we're talking about Valentine's Day. And before you roll your eyes,
Or reach for the skip button because you think we're about to tell you to buy more stuff.
we're actually doing the opposite.
Because Valentine's Day has become the second biggest retail holiday after Christmas. And honestly, most of those roses and chocolates and teddy bears end up in the trash by March.
So today we're diving into what actually happened with Valentine's spending in 2024. And then we're giving you a practical, clutter-free way to show love based on how people actually want to receive it.
Spoiler alert, it involves a lot less stuff and a lot more connection.
Let's do this.
Mm-hmm.
According to an article in Forbes called Beyond the Bouquet, written by Kate Hardcastle, 60% of Americans now say Valentine's Day celebrates both romantic and platonic relationships. 32% of the people are buying gifts for friends. Hello, Galentine's Day. 19% are buying for coworkers. And get this, 32% are buying Valentine's gifts for their pets.
I mean, our pets deserve it. They love us unconditionally and never forget to take out the trash. But here's my favorite statistic. 28% of people who don't have a romantic partner still plan to celebrate by treating themselves. Self-love counts, and it absolutely should.
And here's the economics piece that makes this shift even more logical. Cocoa prices went from $2,000 per ton in 2022 to $10,000 per ton in 2025. That's a 500% increase. Flowers are more expensive because of fuel and shipping costs. Miami International Airport alone processes 940 million flower stems for Valentine's Day, stems that will be dead in a week.
Wow. Exactly. So people are looking at these price tags and they're thinking, oh, this, or I could book a massage or a cooking class or a weekend away. They're choosing experiences that last over stuff that wilts. And that's the shift we want to lean into today because you can absolutely show someone you love them without adding clutter to their life or yours.
But to do that effectively, you need to understand how a person experiences love, which brings us to love languages. Okay, quick overview for anyone who's new to this concept. Dr. Gary Chapman wrote a book identifying 5 primary ways people give and receive love: words of affirmation, acts of service, receiving gifts, quality time, and physical touch. Apparently, they have been around since the 1990s, but I became aware of them because of my 20-something daughters and Love is Blind on Netflix. And that's a true story.
And and here's why this matters. Most relationship conflict doesn't happen because love is absent. It happens because love is being expressed in a language the other person doesn't fully understand. So one person is doing all the household tasks, thinking, I'm showing love, while the other person is thinking, why don't they ever just sit down and talk to me?
Exactly. Or somebody's buying thoughtful gifts and their partner just wants them to verbally express how they feel. So today we're going to walk through each love language and give you experience-based ideas, not gift ideas, for each one. No clutter required.
So let's start with words of affirmation because that one's my love language. So I'm biased. There are people who feel loved through spoken or written words, compliments, encouragement, expressions of appreciation, and not just surface level stuff. They want sincerity, specificity, and meaning.
For these folks, silence can actually feel like distance, even when everything else is fine. So here's what experience based love looks like for words of affirmation people. Write them a letter, not a text, not an email, a real handwritten letter that explains what you appreciate about them and how they've impacted your life, what you admire, specific moments when you notice their kindness or strength or humor.
And if you really want to elevate this, read it out loud to them. Make it an intentional moment. Because here's the thing, words of affirmation people will keep that letter. They'll go back to it when they're having a hard day. The words linger, they become emotional touchstones. My mother had dementia, and while my parents were separated for about 5 months during her dementia, we had a letter from dad that mom kept right next to her bed. And if she was having a hard time, she would read it in the morning and she would read it in the evening and any other time during the day that she went into the bedroom. Um, I mean, she was confused about where he was, and that one piece of paper gave her love and filled her. It was such a help. So, words of affirmation, they really, really can make a difference.
Another option is storytelling. Share memories. Tell them specific times you saw them being brave or compassionate or resilient. Specificity is everything. I love how you handle stress is nice, but I love how calm you stayed when everything fell apart last spring and you still managed to make everyone laugh is powerful.
And that's the difference. Generic compliments are nice. Detailed observations feel like you're really seeing them. And that's what people with this love language want. They want to be seen and to have that seeing expressed in words.
So, acts of service. These are my people. These are people who feel loved when their load is lightened, when somebody notices what needs doing and just does it. For them, love looks like effort, follow through, reliability.
And here's where Valentine's Day often goes sideways for these folks. They receive something romantic, but impractical, while the thing stressing them out remains untouched, like getting roses when what they really needed was for someone to handle the grocery shopping or finally fix that leaky faucet.
Exactly. So, for acts of service people, experiences should be rooted in relief. That might look like taking over a task they dread, handling logistics for something that's been weighing on them, or planning a day, even a whole weekend, where they don't have to decide anything or manage anything.
And here's the key, don't make them manage the help. Asking, what can I do? Still requires mental energy from them. Noticing, deciding, and acting, that's where the love is felt.
So, this might look like you wake up Saturday morning and they discover you already cleaned the kitchen, prepped ingredients for dinner, and scheduled that appointment they've been putting off. Or you handle all the Valentine's Day logistics. You make the reservation, arrange for childcare, plan the activity so they can just show up. This isn't flashy. Nobody's posting this on Instagram, but it's deeply meaningful to the person receiving it.
Absolutely. So let's move into receiving gifts. This is the most misunderstood love language. People assume it's materialistic, and it's not. It's about thoughtfulness, it's about being remembered, about knowing someone took the time to think about you specifically.
And here's the thing, experiences absolutely count for this love language if they're presented with intention. So instead of wrapping a physical gift, create anticipation around the experience. Leave a handwritten invitation on their pillow. Build up to a planned outing they've never booked for themselves. Create a reveal moment. Make it feel special.
The experience says, I know you, I thought about you. I planned this with you in mind. And unlike physical gifts that turn into clutter, experiences turn into stories. Stories you'll retell, memories you'll reference, inside jokes that'll last for years. That's what receiving gifts people actually want. Evidence that you were thinking about them, that you put thought and care into something.
So let's talk about quality time. This one's about presence, not presence with a TS, but presence, undivided attention, not just being in the same room, but being emotionally available and fully present. For quality time people, distraction feels like rejection. So if you're sitting next to them scrolling your phone, that doesn't count, even if you're together.
Experiences for this love language need to remove interference. Phones down, schedules cleared, multitasking paused. That might mean a date night with no agenda, or recreating a meaningful memory, or trying something completely new together. What you're doing doesn't matter as much as the fact that you're fully there.
It could be cooking dinner together with music playing and actually talking while you chop vegetables, or going on a long walk without trying to solve problems or discuss logistics, or even sitting on the couch watching a movie, but actually watching it together, not half watching while checking email.
When that happens, when someone feels like they have your full attention, the connection deepens naturally. And that's what quality time people are craving, your presence, not your proximity. So, moving on to physical touch, and let's just say it up front, this is often misunderstood too. It's not just about romance or intimacy, it's about reassurance, connection, safety. For these people, touch communicates closeness in a way that words just sometimes can't.
So, experiences here might include a slow morning together while you're not rushing, a massage, professional or at home, dancing in the kitchen, sitting close on the couch without feeling the need to fill the silence with conversation, going for a walk holding hands, taking a bath together, or even just a long hug.
The key is intention. Touch without attention doesn't land. Um, but intentional touch, that creates grounding. It says, I'm here, you're safe, we're connected. And for physical touch people, that's how love registers most deeply.
Here's the reality. Most people don't have just one love language. We usually have a primary and a secondary, and most couples don't share the same ones. So combining experiences can be incredibly effective.
Working together blends quality time and acts of service. Writing a love letter and reading it aloud during a massage blends words of affirmation and physical touch. Planning a surprise trip and presenting it with a heartfelt explanation blends receiving gifts and words of affirmation. Layering love languages creates depth and it shows you're paying attention to multiple dimensions of how someone experiences love. So here's what we want to leave you with as Valentine's Day is approaching. Valentine's Day doesn't have to prove anything. It doesn't have to be expensive. It doesn't have to be Instagram worthy. And it definitely doesn't have to add more stuff to your home.
The most meaningful expressions of love are the ones that say, I see you, I know you, I'm choosing to show up for you in the way you need. So this year, consider decluttering expectations. Declutter the obligation to do what everyone else is doing. Declutter the pressure to spend money you don't have on stuff nobody needs. And choose connection instead.
Absolutely. Because at the end of the day, and this is true whether we're talking about Valentine's Day or any day, People don't remember what they got, they remember how it felt. And that's a Valentine's Day worth keeping. So we want to thank you for hanging out with us today. If you loved this episode, share it with someone who you think needs to hear it.
And if you want more clutter-free living strategies, join us in our Clutter Crushers Club at www.abcdeclutter.com.
Our community is full of people who actually get it. No judgment, no shame, just real support from folks who understand that decluttering is about way more than just stuff.
We'll see you next time, friends. So until then, keep it simple.
Keep it intentional. And
as always, keep
decluttering.
decluttering.